All right, coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to get to – I have a question about Tarik Skubal, and I'm going to need you to think about it, and I want to have a conversation surrounding it. But we started with – morning show had a lively debate. Shirtless guy versus baby at Ballgame. One problem, the person filing the grievance against rotund shirtless man was the very person who brought an infant to a game. Who's more in the wrong? Heather Park. Paul Serra's in because Kenny Cott shamelessly needed an extra day on his weekend and called in. Paul, ticket text, what do you have?
Yeah, from an unnamed texter. It doesn't make it easy. The Tigers make it easy for kids to come to games with the 3 under is free.
Yeah, and again, Kids Day, all of that's wonderful if you're of age. Like if you're 5 and up, go. I don't get it. You can do whatever you want to do. It's legal. And no one's saying it's not. It's about who's more in the wrong. Now, if you're telling me that the guy who's the size of a house who's shirtless is more in the wrong, that's fine. It's a question. This isn't North Korea. You're not going to get blown up by artillery or hauled off to the gulag.
No, I would say, you know what? Both of you, be quiet, watch the game, because neither have a case right now.
Mutually assured destruction.
Right.
Paul Sarah.
Another unnamed texter. How is this even enjoyable for the parents? It's got to be torture bringing really young children or babies to games.
Okay. Here comes the cascade.
We need Bobo to call back in.
Baba Chris.
Right.
Chris in Canton. He should call up forever now as Baba. No, Paul, what you're describing, though, this is anytime I travel. I never understand why parents put themselves through it. And again, you don't have kids. I have friends with plenty of them. And do you know what? Almost to a number they come back. I had a buddy take a beautiful vacation about 2 months ago. He came back. He goes, I need a vacation from my family. I said, I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to get him in trouble. But I said, well, what did you think you were getting into with an infant and a 3-year-old on a trip?
Yeah.
Well, you know, so-and-so, not going to say the wife's name, wanted to go on vacation. I go, well, when you have kids, you've basically bought yourself 5 years of no vacation.
Especially when it's like, oh, we're going to go to Disney World. Kid doesn't care. I'm ready to go. I spent all of this money. I don't care. I'm ready to go, Dad. Let's go. What are you going to do?
You're going to get me into another topic, and we're not going to do it because I got to get the Skubal at 3, but I'm telling you. Do you know who the worst people on this planet are?
Who?
The adults who go to Disney without their kids. You're a sociopath.
Oh, Disney adults.
Disney adults? What's wrong with these people?
I think those are the people who just love the Disney characters.
Losers. Got it. You're an adult. You had your time with Goofy. It was 40 years ago.
Everybody has their vice, Mike.
Yeah, and it doesn't make them less weird. Disney adults are weirdos.
Everybody has a vice. Everybody. I mean,
no,
look,
crack
I'm
is
not
a vice.
I'm not a Disney person, but if that's what you want to do, fine.
Okay, but when you're taking your kids and not old enough to remember it, and you took a HELOC out to go on that vacation,
now that's a problem.
Okay, then, Paul, Sarah.
Well, it is a little bit concerning, though, when you see the people that are like, I've had everything on every restaurant menu in Disney World.
Mm-hmm. You know what
just
I
to
want to
have it. And anytime there's something new, they go there just to try the new thing.
You know what I want to do? I want to put those people on a boat with no GPS. And I want to let it sail into the distance until I never see them again.
So are you just anti-Disney, or are you just Disney people being there?
Well, I'm anti-Disney in that what they do to American families and bankrupting them. I mean, the pricing scale is out of control. But, okay, back to the main point.
No, I was just curious. Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I don't either, but I got a whole nother thing with this.
I mean, people are coming home from Disney, 20 grand in a hole, and you're like, wait, what? You got popcorn and went on a roller coaster. What? Oh, but my daughter needed a dinner with the princess.
Dude, my
right,
dad.
and the Pistons need a stretch 4. Those costs shouldn't be the same.
Brother, a friend of mine just got back and was like, yeah, the lines were like 85 minutes long, an hour and a half long for the line. If you buy the fast pass, that's like $400 just to...
I've never ridden Space Mountain when it was under 80 degrees.
Okay. Paul, give me one more and I'll go to the people.
Here's from Jake and Howell. He's throwing another group of people under the bus here. He said, while shirtless guy and small kids' parents are both egregious, maybe we should ban the groups of people who are at ball games just to socialize and talk about anything but the game.
Oh, I'm with you on that. I That's a whole other pet peeve of mine is when you sit next to that person who just wants to talk to you about everything. It's like you give the, yeah, okay, the head nod. And then when you look away and you're still nodding your head, that means the conversation is over and they keep talking. I got to move. So, yeah.
You do that to me every day. You're still sitting here.
I kind of have to be here till 6.
You nod your head and go,
I have to be here till 6. Yeah. Because I feel like I'm part Valenti
right.
therapist.
Thank you.
Go ahead. You're in a safe space. Get it all out. Mics are off. Say what you got to say. We move on.
Kenny sucks. Let's go to Tom on his cell, 97.1. Tommy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good,
Hey.
Tom. What's up?
So I have to agree with you on the Disney adults thing. You got to put them on a ship and send them to a galaxy far, far away.
That's right.
So, anyways, back to Heather with the kids. I agree with you guys. 1 and 3, it's way too young. They aren't going to remember it. However, on the one day, on Kids Day, I think shirtless guy might be a little bit more in the wrong, but you guys are right. It's like Spider-Man. They're looking at each other, pointing the finger. They're both kind of in the wrong there.
Yeah.
Okay, and Tom, I guess I'm going to tip the scale more to shirtless guy is wrong because it is kids day. So, buddy, put on a shirt because I don't need parents having to explain what are we looking at here, Mom? Just put the shirt on.
Right.
It's kids day.
It's like Bark in the Park Day, the dog day.
Right.
It's Kids Day. It's a special day.
So, yeah, I didn't realize it was kids day.
No, it was. But
so I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Heather.
1 and 3 aren't kids. They're just placemats,
Right,
with hair.
But with a bunch of kids around, dude, put on a shirt.
That part, okay.
I'll go buy you a shirt.
I'm going to agree with both you and Tom in that regard. The shirtless guy at the ballpark, I don't get it.
No, especially shirtless guy like in freezing cold weather. You're a psychopath.
No, that's a person who wasn't hugged enough as a child. They want attention. Notice the guy who's always on TV in cold weather games. Shirtless guy. They want to be on TV so they can tell their loser friends, hey, Luke, I was on TV. That's all that is.
Gotcha. No.
Dad wasn't around much. That's what shirtless guy at football game is. Dad didn't love me.
Because there's I'm not cold. Really? Because I'm freezing.
Cutscene, you're at the ER with frostbite.
Like, what do you get out of this? Oh, you just got to drink a lot.
Once again, flow chart. Luke, I was on TV. That's all that is, man. 248-539-9797. Let me get Marcus in the mix, 97.1. Marcus, what's going on, buddy?
Rico, Mike, what's up, brothers?
Hey, Marcus.
Man, I'm sitting here eating lunch and listening to you guys. And, like I say, I like kids. I got 3 kids, but they're adults now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, I never knew I could hate kids. We went on a cruise last year, and we go in September. Why? Because all the kids are going back to where? School. So we go on an 8-day cruise to Aruba, and we get on a boat, and I'm looking around, and I'm asking my wife, I said, did we get on the right boat? I see so many kids, Mike, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
God help
Is
me.
this for real?
It's real.
They say it was 600 kids on this boat. I said, are they out of school, or are they just homeschool? What's going on? Man, so we're at the pool, and Heather was talking about shirtless guy. So this guy, bigger guy, he had on some Speedos.
Uh-oh.
So this mom had her 2 kids poolside and had a problem with this guy with the Speedos on. And I'm kind of looking, and me and him talking, and I said, well, this is supposed to be an adult cruise, not for kids. Just crazy, man.
It's
People,
everywhere.
these little kids. Yes.
I don't understand it either. I look, Marcus, it's just the way I was raised. And then I've seen how my sister raises her children. You know what they didn't do the first 5 years of their life? Travel.
Take trips.
That's
it,
right.
Mike.
It's just kind of the deal. It's like you make a decision, and that's a part of it.
Because, Marcus, I feel bad for you because that's like being on a plane. You're stuck.
Oh, yeah,
You can't. At least at a ball game, you can move to an empty seat and say, you know what? Stay here. I'm going to go over there. You're on a plane or a boat, man, you stuck.
Marcus found himself in a hostage crisis.
For 8 days, Mike.
No.
At least I hope the drinks were free.
You should have seen if the boat had a dinghy that you could have just taken to shore. Just called it a day, man. That I'm out.
You brothers have a good day.
You too, Marcus. Seriously. Hey, Captain, is there a dinghy on this thing? Just like it, just the SS Marcus. just
Like you're 800 miles away from shore. Don't care.
there's a tailwind. We'll get where we have to go. Like, is it a
Bros made it on the door. You can make it in a dinghy.
Exactly.
Okay.
But if you're not having fun on a cruise and they drop you off at a port of call or whatever, can you take your bags and just go, I don't want to get back on this boat. I'm done.
Man, that's a great
It's a
question.
serious question. Like, if you're on a hellscape, like, look at all these cruises where everybody gets the poops. What if you haven't gotten the poops yet and you're like, look, I'm done. I don't need to see the island of St. Kitts. I'm done. I want to fly home.
You probably will get quarantined.
Oh, well, then you're screwed. All right.
Because if the other nation is just like, yeah, don't bring that problem here.
Yeah, I'm not cruise guy, so that's why I asked the question.
I've never been on a cruise either.
It's
You know who? Cookies. Ask him that question.
Yeah, but he goes on those swingers cruises. That's a whole different thing.
I mean, you get sick on those, I guess. No
That's-
kids, at least.
That's called a venereal disease. It's different.
You owe one today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Valeni will be here till 6. Make sure you tip your waiters. Tip the waitresses.
Up next, Cookie's full review of hedonism. 248-539-9797. FanDuel giving you reasons to love home runs even more on Tuesdays. You get the profit boost tokens. This is, look.
Take Shohei.
I mean, why not? Him and Judge. I don't know. That was your program 2 years ago. You did okay. This is more of a Cookies thing. All jokes aside, but the home run Tuesdays, it's big. People like it. And away you go. You bet on home runs, you get the profit boost. FanDuel.com/ticket. You can gear up for all the games tonight. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, the official betting partner of MLB. 21 and up, present Michigan. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions do apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, before we get back to business, touch table on some football. Here's Paul Sarah because Kenny didn't want to come to work today.
So, yeah, as you guys said.
Thanks, Doug. Yes, Paul.
So we're going to go over some things to look for in the OTAs for the NFC teams. So we'll go a little bit of alphabetical order. We'll start with the Cardinals. One thing to watch for their OTAs is what cornerback Will Johnson looks like.
I leave this to Rico. This is the friends and family plan. This guy loves Will Johnson and all related families. So here's Rico.
You know what, Paul? If you're the Cardinals, he's a long-term investment for you. Probably going to make sure he's completely healthy. I'm not going to work him that hard in the OTAs until he gets closer and closer to the season. Now, he is a guy that he's going to play in the preseason games because I need to see you up against live talent. But I'm probably going to work you in slowly and wait until training camp happens to really kick it in gear for him.
How bad is he injured, by the way, Rico? Because I don't believe him when he says he's fine and he fell that far in the draft.
I don't know. And that's just it. I mean, it's just, I thought he was just kind of opting out a la, the Bosa. I don't need to play this. I'm looking forward to the NFL. But then he re-injured himself, and that's why he fell. If I'm Arizona, I bring him in training camp and really work him hard and tell him, you're playing half the preseason games, like it or not, this year. I need to see what you can do.
Look, the knee issue's murky. It got flagged by a lot of teams. It's why he fell. Will it affect him now? Probably not. Will it eventually? Yes. I think it's very similar to like Nakobe Dean. Yeah. When these guys come out and you get, or remember Miles Jack when he came out and he had this degenerative knee thing. I don't know that that's what Will has. The point is, at some point, it's going to be a thing. That's how this works. I don't think teams passed on a kid who was a top 10 corner if it wasn't real. So go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
Well, no, it's fine. Next one's the Falcons, Atlanta Falcons. Can quarterback Michael Penix show that there's no reason for Atlanta to worry about moving on from Kirk Cousins?
Here, I'm Rico Beard.
Me now?
Yeah, I'm Rico. Yes. The guy's good.
Yeah.
And he's going to be fine. And I'm just happy I never have to see him face Michigan State again because he ripped us up 17 times.
And he's got all the weapons around him. So if it does not work out, it is all on him.
Yes, but it will. I think.
Maybe.
Carolina Panthers, how quickly Bryce Young can gel with Teteroa McMillan?
Yeah, look, ultimately that's going to be the practice reps. That's going to be the throwing sessions. But Bryce Young looked good towards the end of last year. And Dave Canales, a quarterback whisperer. He got Baker Mayfield launched in Tampa.
See, what you can't have, though, is what happened with the Cardinals last year with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr.
They didn't get along.
Where it was like, okay, have you guys practiced at all in the offseason? Because he was like, I'm throwing it to anybody but him. Like he owed him money or something. So, yes, if you're Bryce Young, he is your future. He would be moving in with me. Like we would be in the backyard in the middle of the night with lights out there practicing and getting reps in.
Next on the list is a team that the Lions are very familiar with, the Chicago Bears. How quickly Caleb Williams can adjust to Ben Johnson's offensive system.
I'm fine with this being the headline, but I think it's overblown. Because Ben Johnson is going to tailor this thing to Caleb, just like he tailored it to Jared Goff. And the basis of it is going to be a running game. That's what it is. We're not curing cancer. And I know the morning show think that Ben Johnson is, his brain is turned into a pumpkin. This is a very smart guy. And Caleb had a better rookie year than anyone in this town is willing to give him credit for.
No, I think running game along with play action, which is why they took the tight end, like that's going to be the recipe for success. And then as the season progresses, I think that's when you're going to take your deep shots to your wide receivers. But I agree with Mike. We're going to run the ball. We're going to do play action. Caleb, maybe you do, the naked bootleg. And then as you get it, then we'll start throwing the deep balls to Odunze and more in the other wide receivers.
Next up is the Dallas Cowboys. The one thing to watch is what will their secondary look like?
Hot trash. Is that on the multiple choice?
Yeah, you can put it in there.
I don't. And again, reports this week that they may not want to even bother with Trayvon Diggs moving forward. Everything Cowboys is in flux to me. It all feels weird. I don't know what Jerry. Well, obviously he's enjoyed himself at the bar this weekend. If you saw those photos.
Oh, I did not.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, Jerry. Let's leave that part alone.
Okay.
The point is, I'm out on all of it. I think it's going to be a mess.
Well, the whole offseason started off weird when you hire a coach as a Friday night news dump.
Correct.
Next on the list, we'll skip the Lions. The Green Bay Packers. Who comes out as the number one wide receiver in that wide receivers room?
God, that's a great question that I sure as hell don't have an answer to, brother. I mean, look, I love the kid they got in the draft in Savion Williams, the kid from TCU. Physical freak, elite RAS score type guy. Wouldn't shock me if it ended up being him because I'm with Rico. Christian Watkins, he's done.
Didn't they get Golden too?
Yeah, Matthew
Yeah,
Golden.
but again, that's a trinket guy to me.
Yeah, either that or they go the route of, do you just want that like possession Amon-Ra receiver? And I know a lot of Lions fans get mad when I call him that, but he's a great possession receiver. He moves the chains. Then that would be Reed.
I love how that's an insult.
Right.
Guy catches 125 balls, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, tough as nails. And oh, yeah, that's an insult. Well, newsflash, he's not Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. So maybe Reed, because he's that guy that just kind of like their Amon-Ra. But I don't know if they have, like, because, yeah, Christian can't stay healthy. So I can't count on him at all.
Well, yeah, and it seems like Jordan Love also has a really good connection with Romeo Doubs as well. So it's like he can only throw it to so many guys.
That may actually be the strength of the Packers passing game, is that they don't have the number one guy, so you can't double up one person. And it leaves Love to kind of pick the poison. Okay, you want to go after Romeo Doubs? I'll throw it over here.
Next up is the Vikings and how quarterback J.J. McCarthy looks.
This is my number one offseason question. Like, of the things I'm fascinated to see in the NFL, it's number one with a bullet. That's a Super Bowl roster. They spent a ton of money this offseason. Why? Their quarterback gets paid in slices of cheese. If McCarthy's good, the Vikings are going to be a distinct problem. Mm-hmm. But it's all on him. So this is like my obsession.
I guess it's almost like what's going on in Atlanta, because all the toys are there. And if the quarterback works, man, you're going to be good for the next 4 or 5 years because you're not paying them that much money. But if it doesn't, because the thing is, he's going to have to come out there and win like 11, 12 games, because people are going to be comparing him like, well, Darnold won 14. And even though they didn't do anything in the playoffs, he still won 14 games with this assembly of people. They expect the same from him. Oh, boy. Okay, I see Jerry now.
Next up is the New Orleans Saints and who will take control of that quarterback competition.
Who cares? That's my official answer. It'll have to be Tyler Shuck. The guy's 1,000.
I'm thinking
he's 30.
He's older than all their quarterbacks on their roster already.
That's why it has to be his job. Clock's ticking.
I was about to say, I think that they hand it off to Spencer Rattler and say,
then why'd you take a 27-year-old quarterback?
Because he's technically not ready yet. It's Rattler's job until either you keep it or Shuck takes it from you.
You need to be drug tested. Tyler Shuck. It's his gig.
Okay.
And speaking of quarterback competitions, your team, Mike, the New York Giants.
That's football today.
How will these snaps be distributed during the OTAs?
No idea. It's a clown car on fire. Look, Paul, here's my viewpoint on it. If you let these two goofballs and Dayball and Shane draft a kid, you know it's not going to be a good year regardless, right? Meaning you're essentially giving them a 1-year extension. So if that's the case, if Jackson Dart is remotely ready, you play him and you live with it. Otherwise, why did you let Dead Men Walking shop for tomorrow night's dinner? That's how I view it. Russell Wilson is a weirdo. Jameis, forget about it. So for me, you draft quarterback, you play quarterback.
What you said makes sense, Mike, but it's not going to happen.
Great.
No, because this is one where you got to wait. You can't just throw him out to the wolves. If anything, I don't know when the Giants buy, but maybe that's where you make the handoff. But I think this is Wilson's job to lose. And if he doesn't get it done, if you're sitting there with a losing record, then yeah, you move over to Jackson Dart.
All right, week 2 when we're 0-1. That's football today. We're up against it. Got to roll. All right, 3 o'clock. Good to have you with us. Want to turn our attention to the Tigers, but in a different way. As you know, we generally have a rule on this show. We don't do the Chris Farley SNL skit of, hey, the Tigers are really good. Isn't that great? 248. Yes, they're good. It's also May. There are more interesting ways to do this, and I think one of them is, let's look at what Skubal did the other day. And I want to ask a question, and before you call, text, or curse to the sky, I want you to just take a beat and think. So Tarik Skubal, complete game shutout. First of his career, 13 strikeouts, and it really saved the series to a point. When you're dealing from ahead the way the Tigers are, you lose 3 out of 4, you're still 4 up in the division versus 2 up. Losing 3 or 4 isn't ideal.
But it's not a
make no
catastrophe.
mistake. Right. Now, if you got swept out of the ballpark, problematic. But Skubal's the saver, the stopper, the ace, the undisputed best pitcher in the American League. So I wanted to go past the complete game as I present this question. I want to offer you, because I'm big on sample size. I hate when you get some goofball from the minors comes up, hits 600, and you're like, right, it's 13 at-bats.
No, you are. That's why I'm waiting till June 1st to bring up Tiger stuff.
No, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to say 90-win team. But here's Skubal sample size. In his last 50 games, 50 appearances. Now, that's not quite 2 full seasons, but with pitching injuries, most guys don't make 35, 34, 33. If you can get 30 starts out of a guy, you've really done something. So I said, okay, 50. And obviously, Skubal is rolling right now. He's having a wonderful season. Cy Young last year. But 50 starts. Skubal, I don't love wins and losses, but the stat's the stat. 28-7 in that time. The team's record is much better than that. ERA of 2.27 and almost 400 strikeouts in the 50 games. 383 strikeouts. Here's my question, guys. What is your confidence level the Tigers are going to sign Skubal? Because what you've gotten over 50 games, I would argue, is every bit what Justin Verlander gave you in the must-see JV time frame. Oh, but what about the no-hitters? It was also 15-plus years ago, guys. The game has changed. Guys don't pitch as long. All I can offer you is if Skubal pitched 15 years ago and his pitch count was 120, you'd probably get a couple more things. But here's my question. Look, last year, the team was bad until they weren't.
Right.
We talked Skubal trades, Skubal signing. What do you do? What did we say this offseason? I really would like to get it done. All we heard about was a low ball offer. We have heard nothing since. Nothing. This team is anything but bad. This team is good. Meaning you can have no conversation about trading. Meaning you're kind of trapped. Now, I've said it from the beginning, and I've either, some people agree, some people got unhinged when I said it. I just said ultimately, if I'm Boris and I'm taking this kid to market, I'm searching for $40 million a year.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole got about 36.5. I got a left-handed in his prime, Cy Young. Now, here's my point. Rico, with every performance like Sunday, with every start, his price just goes up.
Yep.
So my question is, and again, I don't know what's going to happen, but what's your confidence level that this guy is going to be here beyond next year?
I'm not very confident. And
Scale of 1 to 5.
well, 5, I'm confident. And
5, it'll get done. Shut up, radio man. 1 is you've already cashed in your Skubal jersey because you believe he's going to be a Yankee.
I'm probably at a 1.
No.
I'm at a 1 because Mike, and this is one where it may just be the two parties go apart. Like Scott Harris, he said on a podcast where, it takes 2 to tango. And I interpreted that as we're trying, but we can't do this dance solo. We need some help. And I do think that the price is going to be so astronomically high that I don't know if the Tigers will pay that price, whereas a team like the Mets may come in there, or the Yankees, or the Dodgers. Like somebody else is going to come in and pay this ridiculous amount of money for him.
I'd pay him 5 at 200, and I wouldn't think twice. Why? Because you've got to take chances, and there aren't horses. This guy's a thoroughbred.
Yeah.
And look, he hasn't been hurt, and I know he's had a couple arm injuries, but he's been rolling. 50-game sample size.
Yeah, I think that he may be willing to test the market out, and good for him. I mean, get what you can make, but I think in the end, if he tests out the market, I don't think Detroit's going to be a major player because I think that their offer will come in as a low ball offer compared to other teams.
Okay,
Not
so
to say that they don't value, but I just think, you get the Mets out there with their monopoly money and they don't care, and now he's gone for 5 years, $250.
Okay, that's
No,
I get what you're saying,
right.
but I would say to hell with him then at that price. That's crazy. But like, look,
But that's a few years from now, so who knows what the new market's going to be?
guys, you tell me. And I look at, I heard Cookie say it this morning, and I just can't disagree more. Well, that's an off-season conversation. No, actually, it isn't. Because right here, right now, if you make an appropriate offer, like if they roll out the Garrett Cole offer, first of all, you're going to hear about it. And second of all, Scott Boras has a fiduciary responsibility to his client. If the Tigers rolled out and said, we'll pay Tarik Skubal $37 million a year on let's say, a locked-in 4-year deal with an option out 5, 6, 7, fine. That's something you have to think about.
Right.
But we have no evidence of that. No one you talk to has evidence of that. So my question is, while we're delighting in this run, and while this team is fantastic, it is this thing that I do think about where it's like, okay, I got a year and a half more of them. That's it. Because until there's a deal, there's not a deal. Mm-hmm. And there's no scenario. Look, I'm not saying I want this. I'm saying it would be easier if the team wasn't good, because then the T word happens. We can't have those conversations. You are good. You need this man. Especially because Scott Harris keeps signing 50-year-old Golden Girl pitchers who can't pitch. But, guys, what is your faith that this organization is going to pay this decade's Verlander, this decade's Scherzer? Just tell me here today. No one's quoting you on Tuesday, May 27th. I'm asking a very simple question that has complicated answers.
And that's the other reason why I'm at a 1 is because they did have Scherzer here, and they let him go. And Verlander stayed around for a while, but then they eventually let him go. So I don't think because the way Scott Harris is it's the things he's not saying, Mike, but he's saying, I'm trying, but I can only go so far unless I get Boras to work with me on
this. But it
this.
also comes down to some organizations don't want to pay a pitcher $35 million a year. Okay, and maybe that is their prerogative.
But until I hear the other side, I at least have to reward him. It sounds as if he's trying to get something done. He just can't. Now, I don't know what the amount is.
Well, the amount is Garrett Cole's contract, Rico. It's the
what you guys pay Max Fried?
Is it 5 at 181? Spitball. Sarah, you want to check that for me there, brother? I thought it was it 5 at 1? No. 5 at 181 or 7 at 180? I don't know. Whatever. The Yankee money isn't even real. Right. He's been great. Thank you for him, by the way.
Oh, 8 at 2.
218.
Yeah, 218. 8.
All right, there you go. I don't know. Do I have a problem with it? No. The Garrett Cole contract, yeah, it looks terrible. He blew out. But was Garrett Cole really good for the Yankees? Yes.
Do you think there's a chance that Scott Boras is going to make sure he tests free agency?
I think so. And Paul, if he makes it to free agency, I don't feel like he's coming back.
But if the organization's not going to make an offer that keeps you from free agency, then why would I be mad at the player or agent? I'm not. By all accounts, the only thing we've heard is one low ball offer that was, quote, not competitive. Okay, look, anything happens. If a player has a bad bowel movement, Jeff Passan will be on your TV telling you. So if the Tigers had made a $200 million offer to Skubal, we'd know. That's how the game works. One side is going to want that out there, and it would be the Tigers.
Right.
So I'm asking the question about your faith, your belief. This guy's going to be a Tiger long term. And look, is this a scary question? I don't know.
It is.
But you're acting like it. I don't know the answer. Notice I'm not pounding the desk and telling you one way or the other. I'm asking for people who delighted in his performance this weekend. Then I gave you the 50-game sample. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting here, Rico. He's not signed.
No.
So?
Well, I think it's, hey, Mr. Funny Man, can't we just enjoy this season and his complete game shutout?
No, do that the rest of the day. When you get to 2 to 6, we're going to talk like adults. This isn't Disneyland.
Oh, brother, this has been bothersome for me all off season, and people were like, oh, just calm down. Okay. I kept saying, I'll just be happy when I see that they have some type of a contract extension, new deal, because the longer this goes, the worse I'm going to feel. And now it does feel like you know what? We're gonna go to free agency and we're gonna see what the market is for you.
I mean, certainly if this went to the winter meetings, that's where a deal has to get done, because then you know what's going to happen. Boris will say we're not negotiating during the year, meaning you're in the last year and that's it. You can get this done at any time. I mean, look,
I don't think Boris wants to,
but because what impetus does he have? Do you have a single report this organization has offered $35 million a year?
No, I do not.
Okay, well then if you were repping Tarik Skubal, would you be all boned up to sign?
No.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I think Boris is like, we're going to run unless they blow our socks off, which they probably won't.
So that's why this question resonates a lot more than, golly gee, wasn't Skubal fun Sunday? 248.
Oh, my God. Did you see his last pitch at 103?
Yeah, I don't care. 248-539-9797. I want to know how many more Sundays we get with this guy. I want to know if you believe this organization's going to plant a flag and sign him. Or are you kind of counting it down this year, next year, and that's it? Mm-hmm. Do what you want with it. I think it's interesting. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's like the champion Pistons that whenever they take the spray paint over the number every time the game was over.
That's where it gets to. Sure it does. Summer's heating up, sort of. What are you waiting on? 90 degrees before you fix your AC? How about your power going out? Look, guys, Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, Electrical. You can upgrade your system now. Save up to $1,000. New AC, save up to $1,000. New generator. You picking up what we're doing here? Save up to $1,000. Bottom line, call for details. Schedule your free in-home estimate. Mastercraft, it's honest work. Great same-day service when you call before noon. Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. It's mastercraftheating.com. All right, we'll get to your calls in a second. I'm just asking the question. Skubal was splendid again, but you've gotten 50 games of splendid, which in today's world is the better part of 2 seasons. And this is a guy who has less than that left on his deal. We have nothing in the way of conversations. We only heard about a low ball offer this offseason. And I'm asking the question, what is your belief that Tarik Skubal is going to be a Tiger long term? Because the more performances you have, when the 50-game sample becomes 60 or 70, if he wins back-to-back Cy Young awards, all this is getting more expensive. We talked about it on this show. We would have had him signed last year. And if you weren't going to sign him, trade him. Then the team made a Disney run. All right, trades are off the table. We're going to make a run at stuff. Sign him. They didn't sign him. Oh, they found $17 million for B. Arthur, a.k.a. Alex Cobb, but they didn't get Skubal done. And whether Boris, look, I've given 10 examples, factual examples of Scott Boras clients giving up at least 2 years of term and free agency to sign. This idea that Boris will not allow clients to sign is wrong. You have to pay the tax. So the question, it's why I'm asking, scale of 1 to 5 or scale of 1 to 10, what's your belief the Tigers are going to get this guy signed? He is this decade's Verlander. So what do you want to do? All the while, the team has every right to believe they're going to win this division. They have every right to believe they can get to the ALCS. So,
right, we're not going to be having trade talks because you're winning, unlike this time last year where it looks like you were going in the tank.
Exactly. So that's why. Paul, if you have an opinion or if you have ticket text or both, I want to make sure we touch the table here.
Oh, yeah, this is from Ryan at work. My confidence level is at a 9 because if it's not a 9, just sell the team to whoever and move them.
Okay, but that's move on. I'm not even going down that road.
Here's an unnamed texter. My confidence is like a 2 out of 10. If they don't have a new deal done by the deadline, he should be traded.
With potentially the best record in baseball? No, here's how this works. You're gonna pitch him until the wheels fall off. But here's the problem you run into. Now, I just said Boris will sign deals before free agency. I've given those examples. But you know what else happens? You don't get a deal done. Watch what happens next year. You think Boris is going to go let his client go out there? You think Boris is going to, he'll be in his ear. Rico, you know how this, you know how this goes.
I'm not feeling good today. I'm going to miss this starting the rotation.
Yeah, basically he'd turn into Kenny.
So, as soon as I said it, I already knew
there's also a chance, and I don't want to be negative here, but there's also a chance he doesn't actually want to be here.
Well, you know what, Paul? That's the other thing, because whenever they talk to him, he never gives the glowing, you're going to work this out. Like, different sport, but every time they talk to Aiden Hutchinson, you just knew, I'm going to be a Lion for life. When they talk to Skubal, it's kind of like, it's a business thing. You got to talk to the guy upstairs. It's not in my it's deflect. And I get it. Scott Boras has probably told him, that's my job. You just go out there and play. But you never really get the feeling like, look, I want to get this thing done, because maybe that's leverage. If the Tigers know that, they can use that to their advantage.
I also think it speaks to what agent he hired, too.
And but I guess going back to the ticket texter, I guess they're saying you trade him to try to get something for him, but it would be asinine.
You can't do that. Look, last year when the team was god-awful, you could have that conversation. And I didn't think it was offensive to have the conversation. Sign him or trade him, and it's one or the other. Well, now you're good. You didn't trade him. You got to sign him. But, is there a very real possibility they're going to pitch him and lose him in free agency? Yeah. Because to me, the more things he does like Sunday, and he becomes a 7-inning pitcher, more of a workhorse, or he guides you on a playoff run, what do you think this is going to be? Look, I just want to sign the guy.
Yeah, because I don't think you're going to be seeing complete games next year if he's unsigned.
He won't
get that no-hitter.
It would also be interesting to see what the lowball offer was.
You'll never see it.
Because if it was like $30 million,
Well, I mean, we did find
And they
out
say that's a very low ball offer. I'd be like, whoa.
we found out the Bregman deal. So, I mean, they were willing to overpay, which is why I'm thinking.
Yeah, Skubal's money probably went to Bregman. That's what that is. I mean, after the whole low ball offer thing, low ball for a pitcher is just great for a third baseman.
You know what? You're on point.
I try. I had a few days off. I'm sharp. By Thursday, I'll be a pencil
I'm
eraser.
about to get you angry again.
Kevin in a car. He's up next. Kev, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Mr. Mike and Rico and everybody there. I got a quick question for you. Let me just throw out this scenario to you.
Sure.
Is you need to sign Skubal now. Give him 5 years at $37 to $38 million. And if I'm not mistaken, unless it's bullcrap media, can we not give up 3 of our prospects, 4 schemes to get that Tiger rotation to where it's at? Or is this all on Illich not wanting to spend?
No, all right, hold on. So we've got a number of things going on.
No,
here.
I'm just asking.
No, you're fine.
There.
We've got a number of things happening here. First of all, I don't buy any of the skiing stuff. If you're Pittsburgh, you got them signed for 6 more seasons. There's already a revolt locally because Bob Nutting is a real POS. It's a bad organization. I don't buy that. Now, if there is any availability to Paul Skeens, I would duct tape Max Clark and McGonigal together to a rocket, and I would go and get him.
Yeah.
I'd throw a third one in there.
Well, right, but you get my point. But I want to stay away from that because I don't believe in any of that. Now, the spending thing, look, they wanted Bregman. They made a more than competitive offer. And let me be clear, I didn't even want to pay Bregman that. So I defended the organization, which makes me feel dirty, but I did it.
So they made an effort.
They did. And here's the key in all this. It took someone paying Bregman more on an AAV basis this year than Aaron Judge makes for him to go and take that deal. Now, the Skubal thing is going to come down to a philosophy. Do you want to pay a pitcher 37, 38? I mean, Zach Wheeler, AAV is 41. Forget about Ohtani. Ohtani gets paid as both at 70 a year. Just leave that alone.
Correct.
Some organizations will say yes, and others say no. I think this Skubal thing, it comes down to, you're going to have to pay him. I didn't pick $40 million. Like last year, I got killed. The guy's on his station. I don't care. 40 a year is probably the going rate.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. How many years are you going to give him? I would do it if it was with my premise that I brought in the Paul Skeens thing, is Paul Skeens is on his original contract. I would give Skubal 5 years because he's had Tommy John surgery. Yes, I understand he throws 100 miles an hour at the end of a game. I get it. But at that time, you're able to re-up, say, do we want Paul Skeens more? Do we want Skubal? I'm not saying that that's going to happen.
Right.
It's just that way. If you were to give Skubal a 5-year deal,
but again, they got to be willing to take that because term is what is the deal. Do you want to be able to double dip, even if they sign you to a 7-year deal? Where's the out clause so you can go and renegotiate and get another bite at the apple? Some guys like Max Fried basically cashed his chips in. I'll take a 7-8 year with the Yankees. Juan Soto, I'm signing one deal the rest of my life. I can't speak to that. I have said from Jump Street, I would offer 5 at 200. There is my stock boilerplate offer.
No, I think that's fair. You're not locked in, so if this goes south, but he's going to make his money.
Yeah, and you can also do a deal without clauses and different things where it could be an 8-year deal for 300.
Right.
You can do a lot of things.
But in 2 years, is it going to go up where now, you could ask for 45
If he hit
million?
free agency without injury, Rico, I'd be stunned if he signed for less than 40 a year. I mean, Jacob DeGrom's making 39.
No, I'm thinking Boris is thinking more dollars. Like in 2 years, can we push this to 45 a year?
And look, ultimately, the organization can only do so much, but I have to be reading it, hearing it, seeing it, but I'm not.
Yeah, that Paul Skeens thing, that It was so ridiculous. Yeah, I never even bothered to put it on the sheet because it was like, wait, for this and this? No. No.
I mean, it's like opening up club seating where the heated seats don't work and there's no food.
If you're looking for the best deals on the hottest Chevy models, there's only one place to go.
I'm just hearing conflicting reports on the heated seats. That's all I'm saying.
Hamilton Chevrolet and Warren. Hamilton is leading the way with unbeatable prices and top-notch service and a commitment to total satisfaction. Andrew and the sales staff, they want to be your Chevy dealer, so whether you're looking for a sleek sedan, a tough truck, spacious SUV, heck, for days like today, if you want a drop top, Hamilton Chevrolet has the inventory of brand new 2025 Chevys, and the selection is best right now. No more waiting months for your dream car. Nah, Hamilton is stocked up and ready to get you on the road in a Chevy that'll fit your lifestyle and your budget, including the May Rico deal, a 2025 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab 4x4, $299 a month. You just walk into Hamilton. You get that for 24 months. You put $995 down. You'll drive off with 10,000 miles a year.
It's booming.
You know what I say? The best deals are found at 14 Mile and Mile. Go see my guys at Hamilton Chevrolet for details. Find out why Hamilton is leading the way. More at HamiltonChevy.com. Chevrolet together. Let's drive.